Right, the Premier League relegation battle is one of the closest we've seen in years, and today we are going to predict who's going to stay up and who isn't. So first up, we're going to go through everyone and just see what teams they have that are going to be safe. Ryan, what teams are you got safe?
Palace, Wolves, West Ham, Bournemouth, Everton, Leeds. Go one by one. Palace, I mean, there's little you can guarantee with Palace, apart from all their players will have dreads and that they won't go down, because Roy Hodgson, he's really transformed that team, and you know what, I see them going on a good run of form. Wolves, they're like that club, not going to go into the second half of the table, but they're not going to get relegated. Realistically, they're like Burnley, but they won't get relegated. West Ham, I mean, it's not been a good season for them so far. They got a vital 3 points last week, and I think that's the start. And I mean, they've got superstars like Declan Rice in there, Ben Rama. I think that will be enough to keep them up. Bournemouth, you know what?
Interesting ones.
I think they've performed against big teams and against relegation rivals like Leicester, beating them last week 1-0 with a Philip Billin strike, and what form that man is on, and I think that'll be enough to keep them up. Everton, Sean Dyche, that's all I'm saying. Leeds, players like Gnonto and Somerville, just too good to go down, and I think keep them up.
Is safe from relegation?
Palace, because they're not amazing, but they'll be one of the top teams out of the relegation candidates. I think Wolves, I think last season they did very well, so they've still got a little bit of experience. Everton, West Ham, I think that this main reason is we have very good players and that makes it worth it.
Roasting David Moyes.
I think we have a manager. How many has been doing this line? Everton.
Sean Dyche. And your last team?
Leicester, I think.
Never.
Unless they get, I think they're going to be tight with it. I think, it will be a tight one if they get a good manager.
Alright then.
Get Graham Potter in.
The teams that I have safe from relegation. First up, Forest. I think, despite recent form, Steve Cooper's done a really good job and should do enough to keep them up. Leicester, I think their squad is too good. The likes of Tielemans, Maddison, Iheanacho and Dako are both pretty good as well. Harvey Barnes is alright. Their defence is the problem, but their attacking talent should be enough to keep them up. Next up is Everton, same as Ryan's reasoning. Sean Dyche really should keep them up. Would have kept Burnley up if Burnley had just trusted him a few years back. Bournemouth then, I think that they've actually been quite exciting to watch most games this season. Are a little leaky at the back, but Neto and Senesi have sealed that quite a lot compared to the start of the season. And I do think with some of their more attacking players, if they could just put a few more in, they'd easily stay up. Next up then, Wolves, and I think they're just a solid team. Don't concede too much, could do better going forward, definitely need a striker, but still good enough to stay up. And lastly, West Ham, they've got a good enough squad to start. I mean, they're in Europe for a reason. Now go for everyone's team who they've put in 18th in the league. First up, Ryan.
Nottingham Forest. And whilst they have got a superstar with Keylor Navas in goal, I think, they're a side that spent big, so they should have had big hopes. But whilst they have got results some weeks, I just think it's too inconsistent, and they're only just go down, but the team chemistry is not quite there for me.
You can trust Ryan's opinion, he's used to a club that brings in way too many players.
I'm going with Bournemouth, this little seaside.
Bournemouth.
They've got some all on there, but they've I mean, you've got Senesi, but he's not playing. I mean, Neto is going to. I think Neto's going to help him out a lot, but I don't think it's enough to keep him up.
Right. 18th for me is going to be Crystal Palace. I don't care that they brought in Roy Hodgson. He's an old man, probably going to die on the side of the pitch. But I think, although they did have a good new manager bounce against Leeds, I just think that the form I saw from Crystal Palace in the entirety of 2023 until that Leeds game just shows why they should get relegated. Really, it was just utterly abysmal, and I think they'll just go down on the final day. They'll barely get any points from here on out.
I've never heard something so controversial. 19.
Yeah, 19.
Well, I've gone for Leicester, and that's good, mate. We've seen James Madison, who is the captain, in interviews, just looks like even he's given up. And I think that's just the morale around camp. No, they've got rid of Big Brendan. Sad to see him go, unless you're a football fan, which means he's quite happy to see him go because, quite frankly, he's useless. And
a bit harsh on the guy.
I don't think they're gonna actually get anyone like good in. I mean, if they get Graham Potter, might as well say hello to the Championship right now.
Alright, Tom, you're 19th then?
I went with Forest.
He's right there.
That's what I forgot.
Literally in front of him,
because I think, yes, I think they've got too many, and many quality players. I mean, you've got Navas, but he's the only main one really. I think you've got to have. I think they should have spent more on like individual players than just spending up times on 20 odd players. Like, I'm sorry, but you've got more signings than you have points. I think that's the worrying point there.
Yeah, that's pretty worrying. Alright, my 19th place is going to be one that maybe people won't agree with, but Leeds. I mean, they did just get humbled by Palace, and I think that's going to have a real big impact on the morale of the team. And overall, I just don't think they're good enough. Bamford will probably somehow get injured again for the end of the season, and I just don't think they're going to do good enough. Really, they're quite weak at the back and don't score enough goals either. So 19th place for me. Next up, then 20th, Ryan.
Just Charles cover your ears because Southampton are in 20th and on a one-way ticket to the Championship. They'll get back up, I reckon, maybe. But yeah, maybe in return. Depends if they've got enough to fork out for players' wages to keep them in the Southampton teams.
I would like to point out Ryan's bottom three is the exact same as it is currently as well.
Why change something that's good?
I went with.
Oh, not good for the
I think
people
everyone's
now.
going to go the same for Southampton because I don't think they're very good. To be honest. Sorry, they're not. And I think
Just not
what they're
very
going to struggle with, even if when they go to Championship, how many players are going to go? That's going to be
I mean, can they afford that return ticket?
Teams go relegated and they're broke.
They could do something like that.
Actually, good. Remember West Brom going to the Premier League? Oh no, that's a little bit.
Alright, anyway, my 20th, he's going to go on a long time there. My 20th place, Tom was right, we all agreed on it. Southampton, young team, got lots of young players I really like and will be good, really good in the future. But at the same time, they just haven't looked good enough all season. Players like Bazunu, who I really like, underperforming as well. And I think that just sums up the whole team. They're just not performing how they should. Although I do think they'll do pretty good in the Championship. But right now, the Premier League is clearly too much for their team. Anyway, that is the end of this Premier League relegations predictions video.
Subscribe and comment on the video. Your opinions.
Tell us who got their predictions absolutely wrong in the comments. See you guys next time.